from Trinidad and Tobago. 4th fastest in the world this year. You can see by the lane lineup. She goes in 7. What a year she's having. Trinidadian record holder at 60 metres, 100 metres, 200 metres. And also in the centre lane, number 5, Muna Lee. So it should be a good heat, this one. Kwali of the Solomon Islands on the inside. Tanikar, useful Slovenian, she goes in 3. Mange from the Equatorial Guinea in 4. Muna Lee, 2nd in the US Championships. Very fast personal best of 10.85. Season's best at 11.22. There's probably more in the tank there than she's letting on at the moment. Artie Matey, Cyprus in 6. And now Kellyanne Baptiste, the 4th fastest athlete in the world this year. Quarter-finalist in the 100 metres at the Olympics last year. She's improving fast. She's actually from Togo. So it's a beautiful Tobago, a beautiful island. They'll be cheering her on. And Courtney Patterson from the American Virgin Islands. She's the US Virgin Island number 2, actually, after Laverne Jones-Ferret. So they'll be cheering for her. The Caribbean islands well represented here. So Muna Lee in 5. Kellyanne Baptiste in 7. Courtney Patterson likely to challenge for that 3rd spot as well. 3 to go through by rights. This, the last heat in the first round of the women's 100 metres. Lee in 5, Baptiste, Trinidad and Tobago in 7, Courtney Patterson in 8. First 3 to go through by rights. Well, once again, we have a false start. It was lane 8. They decided pretty quickly. Courtney Patterson, I thought she was up a little bit too fast. So we'll just go back to the women's javelin for a moment. Menendez, the Cuban.
Yes, the former world record holder and champion, has been some way below her best this year. But nonetheless, still to be able to make the final. Well, that's pretty good. That'll take her through without any problem. Pretty much spot on the automatic qualifying standard of 62 metres. In this pool, only 2 athletes, in fact, have gone over 60 metres. Obergful, who we saw before, and Menendez. So Obergful looking pretty safe, I think, to qualify, as we see her about to come out and take her 3rd throw. At 60.04, she's lying 8th overall. I think it's a little unlikely that too many of the other athletes will overtake her. Viljoen of South Africa a bit disappointing, only 56.83 so far, and Nicol of Australia 57.46. 2 athletes that I thought would qualify all right for the final, and they're not in contention at the moment, but they've got a last chance coming up. First of all, though, Obergful. Well, again, very similar throwing, and Steve, she still is below what we'd expected.
Yeah, that's poor, and she knows it. She's not going to be very happy with that. It was a flat throw. It didn't glide through the air. It forced its way through the air, and she's really got to do a little bit better than that.
Well, 60.74. She'll be in the final all right, but as you say, she's got to do better when she gets there.
So, back to this final heat of the women's 100 metres. Muna Lee, United States, she goes in 5. Kellyanne Baptiste, 4th fastest in the world this year in 7. Courtney Patterson, with that false start for the US Virgin Islands, she's in lane number 8. Those probably the athletes to watch. First 3 to go through by rights. The whole field now on a false start. Anyone else preempting the gun will be disqualified. Last chance to qualify for the next round of the women's 100 metres. Muna Lee away quickly, as you'd expect. Also going well, the Trinidad and Tobago, Kellyanne Baptiste. Kellyanne Baptiste coming through on her inside on Mighty 80. The Cypriot athlete, these 3 miles ahead. Muna Lee just takes a glance over, and she'll see that Kellyanne Baptiste was safely through. And Artemata, the Cypriot athlete, Mediterranean Games champion at 200 metres. She went well, all smiles. Courtney Patterson of the US Virgin Islands, she had a good time on paper, 11.29, but she was run out of it. So Kellyanne Baptiste, 4th fastest woman in the world this year with 10.94, so her winning time of 11.42, an absolute stroll. Muna Lee safely through as well, 2nd in the US Championships. pretty much went to script, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's difficult to get excited about these heats, to be absolutely honest, because they are seeded such that the 2 or 3 of the main athletes go through almost fairly comfortably. There's only the odd occasions where maybe they've had a false start that's excited us, really, in these 100 metres. And look, that's the difference between the class athletes and the rest of the field there. Those 3 clear, and the rest of the field really struggling to get anywhere near them. And that's happened virtually in all the heats. But having said that, it's a good practice for them. And they've got to go up a gear, I think, when it comes to the next round later this evening. Then we might see what they're capable of when they're facing much stiffer competition.
Fast improving athlete, Kellyanne Baptiste. I think she's trained by the same coach as Richard Thompson, actually, the Olympic silver medalist from Trinidad from last year. So they're doing something right down there on the islands. Photo to separate them, but really it's a total irrelevance. All 3 miles clear. So there you go, Kellyanne Baptiste, 11:42, Muna Lee, 44. Amata, Cyprus, she's through. Courtney Patterson will be